Maria Alvarez was not someone people usually noticed. She came in quietly every morning, pushing her cleaning cart into the giant hangar where sleek private jets sat like sleeping birds. Dressed in her plain blue uniform and with her hair tied back neatly, Maria had a kind smile and a soft voice. Most of the engineers barely looked up when she passed by. To them, she was just the cleaning lady, there to empty trash bins, sweep the floors, and wipe down tables in the break room. But Maria didn't mind. She liked her job. It was peaceful, and the hangar with its shining jets and smooth concrete floors felt almost magical to her. Every day she swept under the wings of machines that cost millions of dollars. Sometimes she stood quietly for a few seconds just to admire how the light bounced off the silver metal. Her favorite was the Falcon X, a private jet that looked like it could touch the stars. It had been in the hangar for several days, waiting for repairs on a problem with its landing gear. Maria had worked at the facility for nearly 6 years. She never missed a day unless she was truly sick. The staff trusted her and appreciated how clean she kept the place, but no one ever asked her anything beyond good morning or, can you mop the back hallway today? Still, Maria listened. As she cleaned, she heard everything: the engineers' discussions, the debates, the technical terms. She remembered more than anyone realized. She didn't just hear their words, she understood them. That was the part no one knew. Years ago, in her home country, Maria had studied engineering. She loved machines, how they worked, how parts fit together, how one small valve or wire could change everything. But when things in her country became dangerous, she had to leave. She came to a new land to find safety and a better future. But her degrees didn't transfer, and her English wasn't strong at first. The only work she could find was cleaning jobs. So she took what she could and promised herself she'd keep learning even in silence. And she did. Every evening after work, she read books and watched videos. She taught herself new terms and studied diagrams. In the hangar, she paid close attention. When the engineers opened panels or ran tests, she watched from the background while pretending to dust or mop. It wasn't spying, it was learning. One Friday afternoon, as the sun poured through the tall windows, the team of engineers was frustrated. The Falcon X's landing gear still wasn't working right, and no one could figure out why. They had checked the hydraulics, the sensors, even the software. But the error light kept blinking red. Maria was sweeping near the back wall when she heard their voices. Tom Richards, the head engineer, threw his hands up. "We've tried everything. Maybe we should let Maria have a go at it," he said with a chuckle, not unkindly. The team laughed. "Yeah, maybe she'll do better than us," someone added. Maria smiled politely. She was used to their jokes, but this time something was different. Tom looked at her with a grin. "Hey, Maria," he called out, pointing toward the jet. "You think you can fix it while we grab lunch?" The others chuckled again, already walking out the door. It was just a joke, a harmless one, but something about the way he said it lit a spark in Maria. She looked at the jet, then she looked around the empty hangar. The place was quiet now. The only sound was the hum of machines in standby and the gentle buzz of overhead lights. A camera in the corner blinked red, recording like always, more for security than anything else. Maria walked slowly toward the Falcon X. Her heart beat a little faster, but her hands were steady. She wasn't planning to do anything risky. She just wanted to look. The maintenance panels were already open and the diagnostic screen was still running. A clipboard with notes and diagrams sat on a nearby tool cart. Maria glanced at the pressure readings. She recognized the pattern. Something clicked in her mind. A memory from a textbook, a video she had watched twice last week, and a comment one of the younger engineers had made earlier that day. She looked back at the pressure valve near the rear wheel assembly. Then, she gently picked up a wrench from the tool cart. She didn't guess. She didn't rush. She worked carefully, adjusting one valve ever so slightly. Then she checked the gauge, then another adjustment, and another reading. 10 minutes passed, then 15. Finally, she stepped back. The diagnostic screen flashed. Green. The red error light was gone. Maria's eyes widened and she quickly stepped away from the jet, her heart thudding with nervous energy. She didn't want to get in trouble. She hadn't meant to break any rules. She just wanted to try. The engineers had invited her to fix it, even if they were joking. She returned to her cart, picked up her mop, and quietly finished the floor near the back wall. By the time the team returned from lunch, everything looked the same as before. But everything had changed. They didn't notice at first. Tom glanced at the Falcon X and did a double take. Wait, is that light off? The others rushed over, staring at the screen. How did this happen? Who ran the diagnostics? Was the system reset? Confused, they reviewed the camera footage to see what had occurred while they were gone. The screen showed Maria, calmly walking up to the jet, studying the diagrams, making a few careful adjustments, and then walking away. No panic, no hesitation, only skill, only focus. And that was the moment they all realized. The cleaning lady knew something they didn't. Something important. Maria returned home that evening with tired arms and a head full of thoughts. She had been quiet for the rest of the day, pretending everything was normal. But inside, her heart was racing. She kept thinking about what she had done, how her hands had moved without fear, how everything she had studied over the years suddenly made sense in that one moment. She had actually fixed the jet. But what would happen now? She didn't tell anyone, not even her sister, who shared the small apartment with her. Maria wasn't sure if she had broken a rule, or if someone would be angry with her for touching the jet. After all, she wasn't a mechanic. She wasn't even allowed near the tools, technically. But the memory of that green light on the screen kept flashing in her mind like a quiet fire. The next morning, Maria walked into work like usual. She nodded politely to the security guard, rolled her cart across the shiny floor, and greeted the break room with her gentle smile. Everything looked the same, but something felt different. A few of the engineers were already gathered near the Falcon X. Their voices were low and serious. One of them glanced at her, then quickly looked away. She tried not to think much of it. She went about her work wiping tables and emptying the bins. But as she moved closer to the hangar, she heard her name. Maria. She turned. It was Tom Richards, the lead engineer. His face looked thoughtful, not angry, not exactly surprised, just curious. He held a tablet in his hand. "Can I talk to you for a moment?" Maria nodded, her hands resting lightly on her cleaning cart. "We, watched the camera footage yesterday," he said slowly, "from when we went to lunch." Maria felt her breath catch, but she didn't say anything. "You fixed the jet," he said plainly, still trying to understand what he had seen. "You found the pressure fault, and you corrected it. Alone." Maria looked down for a moment. Then she spoke softly. "I only adjusted the valve. The readings, they weren't matching the system's response. It looked like a trapped bubble in the line, the kind that forms when the regulator fails to cycle air properly." Tom blinked. The words were correct. The logic was solid. It was exactly what they had missed. "Where did you learn that?" he asked, not unkindly. Maria looked up at him. "I studied engineering before I came here," she said. "Back home, I didn't get to finish my certification. Then I moved, and I couldn't afford to start over, so I took this job. But I kept learning." Tom was silent for a few seconds. Around them, the hangar buzzed softly with the morning's noise. Toolboxes rolling, workers chatting, a distant beep from a forklift. But here, in this small space, something important was happening. "Come with me," he said. Maria hesitated, then followed him to the small office at the corner of the hangar. There, 3 other engineers were seated around a computer screen. They looked up as she entered. "This is her," Tom said. "Maria." They nodded. One of them, a younger man, with glasses, gave her a small smile. Tom tapped on the keyboard and replayed the footage from the day before. Maria watched herself move across the screen, adjusting the valves with calm hands. It felt strange to see it from another view, as if watching a different person. But that was her. That was real. Do you know how many certified mechanics missed that issue? One of the engineers said. We checked everything except that tiny air bubble. I wasn't trying to embarrass anyone, Maria said quickly. No, Tom replied. You didn't embarrass anyone. You solved something we couldn't. You helped us. There was a pause. Then one of the engineers leaned forward. Would you be willing to walk us through your thought process, step by step? Maria blinked. Now? Yes. If you're comfortable. She looked at the diagram on the screen. Slowly, she pointed to the section of the landing gear where the problem had been. The pressure reading here, she explained, didn't match what was showing up here. The two systems should sync, unless there's something blocking the line. But I remembered a case I studied in a video, an old training course. The solution was to release the valve at this point and reprime the pump. So I tried it. The room was quiet as she spoke. No one interrupted. They just listened. And then something happened that Maria never expected. Tom stood up and looked at her. Maria, would you be interested in helping us more often? On the engineering side? Maria's heart skipped a beat. I don't have any papers, she said quickly. No license, no degree here. You have knowledge, he said, and skill. We can figure out the rest. She didn't know what to say. All she could do was nod. That afternoon, something else surprising happened. One of the engineers posted a short clip from the security camera online, not to mock her, but to celebrate her. The caption read, Cleaning lady fixes $30 million. Jet in 15 minutes after experts fail for a week. Talent is everywhere. The video spread like wildfire. By the end of the day, thousands of people had seen it. Comments poured in. Who is she? Get this woman a job. This is what happens when you overlook the quiet ones. Maria didn't know her life was about to change. She still went home on the bus that evening, holding her lunchbox and a book about hydraulics in her hand. But the world had just started watching, and it wasn't going to look away. After the video went viral, Maria's life changed faster than she could imagine. The next day at work, she arrived early, feeling nervous but hopeful. The hangar seemed different, too. Some of the engineers smiled when they saw her. Others nodded, in respect. Even the security guard gave her a friendly wave. For the first time, Maria felt she belonged in a place that had always felt a little distant. Tom Richards met her by the entrance. Good morning, Maria. Ready for your first day as a guest engineer? He asked with a warm smile. Maria laughed softly. I'm not sure I'm ready for that, she admitted, but I'm willing to learn. Tom nodded. That's all we ask. From that morning on, Maria's routine began to change. Instead of only cleaning, she was invited to attend the engineers' meetings. They gave her manuals to read and explained how the company's systems worked. She still pushed her cleaning cart sometimes, just out of habit, but now she also had a small desk in the workshop where she could study blueprints and work on diagnostic problems. Maria learned quickly. The engineers were impressed by her memory and her ability to understand complex ideas. She asked questions and took notes. Her English improved every day. She found that the more she learned, the more confident she felt. One afternoon, Tom handed her a set of blueprints. We have a new project, he said. A special jet that needs testing. Would you like to help with the diagnostics? Maria's eyes lit up. Yes, please. The project was challenging. The jet had a complicated hydraulic system that controlled everything from the wings to the brakes. The engineers had been trying to solve a strange fault that caused the wheels to lock unexpectedly during landing. No one had figured out the cause yet. Maria spent hours studying the schematics. She talked to the technicians who worked on the parts and took careful notes. Slowly, she started to see a pattern. The locking happened only when the jet landed at certain speeds and angles. She remembered a lecture she had watched years ago about similar hydraulic failures in old planes. The problem was a pressure delay in a valve that should release at just the right moment. If the valve was slow or stuck, the wheels could lock. Maria shared her idea with the team. They were skeptical. At first, the jet was brand new and its parts were supposed to be perfect. but they agreed to test her theory. Together, they examined the valve. It was small and hidden deep inside the system. The engineers disassembled it carefully, checking for any defects. At first, they found nothing unusual, but Maria insisted they check the valve's response time with special equipment. When they did, the result surprised everyone. The valve was indeed slower than it should be, a tiny delay caused by a small manufacturing flaw. "This is amazing," Tom said. "If we fix this, the landing issue will disappear." Maria smiled, feeling proud but humble. She knew this was a team effort. The engineers had the tools, and she had the knowledge. Together, they made a difference. News about Maria's role spread inside the company. More engineers started asking her opinions. She was invited to training sessions and safety meetings. Her advice helped prevent small problems from becoming big ones. Outside the hangar, things were changing too. The viral video caught the attention of a local news station. They wanted to interview Maria and tell her story. At first, she was shy. She didn't like the idea of being on camera or in the spotlight, but her sister encouraged her. "You deserve this," she said. "People need to know how smart and brave you are." So Maria agreed. The interview was held right in the hangar, with the Falcon X quietly resting in the background. The reporter asked about her journey, how she came to work as a cleaning lady, and how she fixed the jet. Maria spoke honestly. She talked about the struggles she faced moving to a new country, the late nights studying, and the importance of never giving up on dreams. The video interview touched many hearts. Viewers sent messages of support, and some local businesses offered her scholarships and training programs to help her get certified as an engineer. Maria's company decided to support her too. They sponsored classes and helped her register for official exams. For the first time in years, Maria felt that the door to her true career was opening wide. Despite all the excitement, Maria stayed grounded. She still arrived early every day, greeted her coworkers with a smile, and cleaned the hangar when she had the chance. But now she was more than a cleaning lady. She was a symbol of hope and determination. Her story reminded everyone that talent can be hidden in the most unexpected places, and that sometimes all a person needs is a chance to show what they can do. After the interview aired on television, Maria's life became busier and more exciting than ever before. People from all over the city, and even from other parts of the country, began to recognize her. Some stopped her on the street to shake her hand or offer kind words. Others sent letters and emails praising her courage and intelligence. It was a wonderful feeling, but it also brought new challenges. At work, things were changing too. The company had decided to officially include Maria in the engineering team on a trial basis. This meant she was no longer just a helper or a guest. She was part of the team that designed, repaired, and maintained some of the world's most advanced jets. Maria was thrilled. She arrived early every morning, eager to learn and ready to work. But she quickly realized that this new role demanded a lot more than she had expected. The engineers used complicated language, formulas, and computer programs that sometimes made her feel lost. It was like learning a new language all over again. Still, Maria didn't give up. She spent her lunch breaks reading manuals and asking questions. She stayed after work to practice on simulators and study engineering software. When she made mistakes, she admitted them honestly and tried harder the next time. Her teammates respected her for her honesty and her determination. One day, Tom Richards called her into his office. "We have a new challenge," he said. "A private jet that needs urgent repairs before an important flight tomorrow. The problem is in the electrical system controlling the autopilot. It's complicated and we don't have much time." Maria nodded. "I'm ready to help." Together with a small team, Maria went to the hangar where the jet was waiting. The engineers explained the issue. The autopilot kept shutting off randomly during tests. If the problem was not fixed, the flight would have to be delayed or canceled. Maria listened carefully. She asked questions about the wiring, the sensors, and the software. Then she examined the control panel and the electrical circuits. Her eyes caught a small detail, a wire that looked slightly different from the others. The insulation seemed thinner, and the connection was not as tight. She pointed it out to the team. The lead technician nodded. That could be it, but it's strange. This part is brand new. Maria suggested testing the wire with a special tool that measures electrical resistance. When they did, the result surprised everyone. The wire's resistance was unstable, causing the autopilot to lose power briefly. "This is the problem," Maria said confidently. The team quickly replaced the wire with a better one. Then they ran tests again. This time, the autopilot worked perfectly. The engineers smiled. "Great work, Maria. You saved the day." Word about Maria's success spread through the company. More projects came her way. She helped improve safety checks, find hidden faults, and make repairs faster. Her knowledge of both mechanics and electronics became invaluable. Outside the hangar, Maria's story inspired many people. She was invited to speak at local schools and community events. She talked about her journey, from studying engineering in her home country, to cleaning floors in a new land, to finally stepping into her dream job. Her message was simple but powerful. Never stop believing in yourself, no matter where you start. One afternoon, Maria received a surprising invitation. It was from the city's university engineering department. They wanted to offer her a scholarship to complete her engineering degree formally. Maria was overjoyed. This was the chance she had been waiting for, to earn the official title she had dreamed of for so long. She accepted immediately. Balancing work, study, and family was not easy. Maria had to manage her time carefully. She studied late into the night after long days at the hangar. Sometimes she felt tired and overwhelmed. But every time she thought about giving up, she remembered the moment she fixed the Falcon X and how much faith her new team had in her. That kept her going. Months passed. Maria's knowledge grew deeper. She learned to use advanced computer programs, read detailed technical drawings, and work with complex systems. She made new friends at university and gained mentors who helped her prepare for official exams. Back at the hangar, Maria became a role model for others. She showed that hard work and dedication can open doors, even when the path is difficult. Her boss, Tom Richards, often praised her in meetings. Maria reminds us that talent is not just about certificates or years of experience. It's about passion, curiosity, and the courage to keep learning. The company also started a new program to support workers like Maria, people who might not have formal degrees but showed great potential. They wanted to give more chances to hidden talents. Maria was proud to be part of this change. One evening, as she sat studying in her small apartment, her phone buzzed with a message. It was from a student who had heard her story. "Thank you, Maria," the message read. "You inspire me to follow my dreams." Maria smiled and typed back, "Keep going. You can do it." Her journey was far from over, but she knew that she had already come a long way. From cleaning the hangar floors to fixing jets and earning respect, Maria's story was proof that anyone can achieve great things with courage and hard work, and she was ready for whatever came next. Maria's life was changing in ways she had never imagined. From the quiet cleaning lady who worked behind the scenes, she had become a respected member of the engineering team. But more than that, she had become a symbol of hope, hard work, and the power of never giving up. Every morning she arrived at the hangar with a bright smile, ready to face the day's challenges. Sometimes she still found herself pausing for a moment under the wing of the Falcon X, remembering the day when she first fixed the jet. It seemed like a lifetime ago. Her days were busy. She studied hard at university, attended classes, completed assignments, and prepared for exams. At work, she helped diagnose problems, designed solutions, and supported the team in improving the jet's safety and performance. Her knowledge and confidence grew steadily. One afternoon, Tom Richards called her into his office again. "Maria," he said, "we have an important project coming up. The company wants to test a new model of jet. This will be the most advanced aircraft we've ever worked on. We want you to lead the diagnostics team for this project." Maria's heart raced. Leading a team was a big responsibility, but she felt ready. "I will do my best," she said quietly. The next weeks were intense. Maria worked closely with engineers, technicians, and designers. She studied every detail of the new jet systems. She led meetings, asked questions, and encouraged her team to think creatively. Sometimes problems were difficult to solve, but Maria stayed calm and focused. One day, during a test flight, the new jet experienced a sudden warning signal. The autopilot system showed signs of malfunction. The test pilot quickly brought the plane back to the hangar safely, but the issue needed urgent attention. Maria gathered her team. "Let's review the data carefully," she said. "We need to find the cause and fix it before the next flight." Hours passed as they examined the system logs, checked sensors, and tested circuits. Maria noticed a small, unexpected signal pattern. It looked like interference from a nearby device that was not properly shielded. "This interference is causing the autopilot to reset," Maria explained. "If we shield the wiring better, the problem should disappear." The engineers quickly applied the fix. The next test flight was successful. Tom came over and smiled. "Excellent work, Maria. You saved the project." Maria felt proud, but she also felt grateful for the support she had received. None of this would have been possible without the team she worked with, the company that believed in her, and the family who encouraged her. Her sister, who had always stood by her side, was especially proud. "Look at you," she said one evening. "From cleaning lady to engineer leading a major project, you've made your dreams come true." Maria smiled. "I couldn't have done it without all of you." Her story continued to inspire many people. She was invited to speak at universities, community centers, and conferences. She talked about her journey, the obstacles she faced, and the lessons she learned. Her message was always the same. Hard work, patience, and believing in yourself can open doors you never thought possible. One day, Maria received a special invitation from a national aerospace organization. They wanted to honor her for her achievements and her role in encouraging others to pursue careers in science and engineering. At the ceremony, Maria stood on stage, holding the award in her hands. She looked out at the audience filled with students, engineers, and supporters. "This award is not just for me," she said. "It is for everyone who has a dream but feels afraid or unsure. It is for those who work quietly behind the scenes, who never give up, and who believe that their time will come." After the ceremony, many people came to congratulate her. Among them were young women and men who said Maria's story gave them hope. They wanted to learn, to study, and to follow their own dreams. Maria realized then that her journey had become bigger than herself. It was now a story of courage, opportunity, and change. Back at the hangar, things continued as usual, but with a new sense of possibility. The company hired more people from diverse backgrounds, encouraging everyone to share their talents and ideas. Maria helped mentor new employees, especially those who felt overlooked or doubted. She remembered how it felt to be invisible, to be underestimated, and she wanted to make sure others never felt that way. Years later, Maria stood next to the Falcon X once again. The jet gleamed in the sunlight, ready to take flight. She touched its smooth surface gently and smiled. The journey from cleaning floors to fixing jets and leading teams had been long and full of surprises. But Maria knew it was only the beginning. Her story was proof that sometimes the most amazing things happen when someone believes in themselves and takes a chance. And that made all the difference.